everyone, Blaze here, welcome back to another anime haul video. This is a Funimation haul for like the first time in like, honestly, I think pre-pandemic. I don't think I've made a video on Funimation since before that, which is insane. Like, probably a while before that. I feel like it's been ages. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like it's been ages and ages, to the point where the company doesn't even exist anymore. But there you go. I've got loads of Funimation stuff, like actual Funimation stuff, not Crunchyroll stuff. At some point I'll actually do a Crunchyroll haul, which is just a weird thing to say, but I guess that will happen at some point. I've got stuff that essentially Crunchyroll put out, but yeah, I've got plenty of Funimation stuff that I've just never got around to sharing. Some of it I picked up so long ago, but yeah, I've just never sat in front of the camera and talked about it. As a result, I have seen quite a lot of the stuff here, not everything, but still, yeah, I have seen most of the stuff here. So, okay, so first up we've got one of my favourite anime series, one of your favourite anime series from 1997, dark, violent fantasy. Of course, it's Berserk. This is the UK release that came out, I don't know, about 7 or 8 years ago, I think. It was a while ago. I know I did a video when I picked it up, and I think that was near enough a pre-order-ish. It was around that sort of, within a few months of it coming out at least. Yeah, so I've owned this set for a while on Blu-ray. It looks amazing. I probably will get the discotheque version at some point, but as of right now I haven't done that. But yeah, so I've got the original series here on Blu-ray, and then obviously I've got the Studio 4C films on Blu-ray that Viz Media put out. So it's the complete Golden Age arc trilogy. And yeah, obviously in 2016 and 2017 we did get more Berserk, although it certainly wasn't given the treatment that it deserved. But yeah, for some reason, like, the series returned, and it was basically given to a studio that had only done, like, I think they did like that tennis ecchi show, like TQ, or something. I can't remember if that's what it was called, but it's like, or something like that. They just did stuff that was like ecchi and like a couple of minutes long, and all of a sudden they're given the rights to do Berserk, or they, commissioned to do more Berserk and make it CG as well for some reason, and all sorts of stuff. And like, Berserk is a huge franchise that may not sell to the very, very core demographic of anime fans, but it has a huge, especially in Japan maybe, but it has like a huge like Western presence, enough that you would feel this would have been given better treatment than it got. But yeah, I actually didn't pick these up initially. I've only seen 2016, so the first of the new series. I watched that around while it aired, and it didn't look very good. I know that the home video version here is supposed to look better, but yeah, so here we got Berserk Season 1 is how it's just called Berserk, but yeah, I obviously it's Berserk 2016 basically. It's got a really, really nice slipcover, which probably isn't going to show up very well. Just a really, really cool image of guts. And there's the back. And another awesome image on the inside. Again, probably not going to show very well, because I'm filming in this dark, danky room. But whatever. Yeah. And then pretty simple disc art. But yeah, I wasn't overly in love with this series. Obviously the animation didn't help. Honestly, and I've said this multiple times now to friends and stuff, that I've sort of come to the opinion, and it's a lot easier to have this opinion now that, unfortunately, is it Kentaro? No, Kenkaro? I can't remember. Miura? I can't remember how to say his surname. I'll put it here. I hate myself for not exactly remembering it right now, but yeah, obviously he unfortunately passed away. So Berserk is now essentially incomplete. I don't know if it'll ever get a completion. I know there was some rumours going around that there was a script out there that shows how the story will end, and maybe at some point those trusted by Miura's family or whatever will give permission for someone to finish it. I don't know, but all I do know is that, in my opinion, as it stands, and I said, as with his passing, it's kind of easier to make this point, but and I'm of the opinion that Berserk didn't need to continue. That the original series, with what happens at the end with the Advent, and then yeah, like, I just don't think it needs to continue. Like, it's a dark ending, very dark, but it has, like, you could imagine like an open ending just after that. I don't want to go into details, because it's one of the greatest anime ever, one of the best endings ever, so yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, even almost 30 years into the future. you know, if you still haven't seen Berserk, you should do so. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it much, like I said with Gunbuster a couple of videos ago. So, but yeah, just in general, like if you know, those who've seen it, I'm of the opinion that it doesn't need to go past that. Like, it's fine. Like, it's perfect almost as it is. You know, you can, you know, there's, you know, slight differences between the original series and what the manga version is, which the films, the Studio 4C films do. You know, they're more true to the manga ending version. But yeah, I'm just of the opinion that the Golden Age arc is fine as it is, and it didn't need to continue. Because, like, and I feel like doubly, like, of that opinion, having now seen this a while ago. Like I said, I watched this while it aired, but yeah, I just don't feel the need for more, which is why I've still not watched Berserk 2017. So yeah, season 2 of Berserk. But yeah, actually, obviously, it's the 2017 version. So yeah, I've not got around to this yet. I probably will eventually. Obviously, they did that memorial edition of the Studio 4C films with like a couple of extra scenes, a brand new dub, which is insane. That's the third time the Golden Age arc has had a dub, although it's also the third time I think a lot of those actors are coming back to basically say the same lines as well, which is insane. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, maybe at some point I'll watch that and then, you know, jump into these again, like watch this again and finally see this. But again, like, the story's not finished. This doesn't complete the story of Berserk. It's probably the last Berserk anime, you know, original that we'll get. Obviously, Memorial Edition came later, but it's just a couple of extra new scenes to the story we already know. So yeah, pretty cool cover art on the front. For some reason, this season is really expensive to get a hold of, while the first season isn't. There's a complete set you can get, which is also, I think, out of print and kind of expensive. But yeah, for some reason, season 2 is really pricey. But I was able to get a fair deal for both of these seasons. I bought them second hand because I dragged my feet getting these. But yeah, I got a good deal. Obviously, Blu-ray DVD. Nice image of Puck there on the front with Guts in his black swordman form. Again, disc art is just, yeah. Is there anything on the inside? No, it's just the slip cover art. So yeah, that's Berserk. I probably talked about it for too long, but it is one of the greatest anime ever. You know, I wasn't, like I said, I waited a while to get these. Got a good deal on them eventually, even though, you know, by the time I got around to them, they were out of print, but I got a good deal. So, you know, a price that was almost comparable to buying them brand new. I think I probably spent a little bit less actually than what they would have cost brand new, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, I'm trying to think where I was going with that. I've completely lost my train of thought. I don't know. Berserk's great. It's a shame that we won't get more. And it's also a shame that the more that we did get, you know, almost 20 years later, unfortunately didn't quite live up to expectations. But yeah, I'll probably end up getting a discotheque release for this at some point. Anyway, so yeah, that's Berserk. Complete 180. Again, I just went through my collection as I've got more that I could have picked. I just randomly picked, okay, that's Funimation, and I kind of wanted a sort of an array of different things, so this happened to be something I picked up. I have seen this one already. Slice of Life, Iyashike, like calm, relaxing sort of show. New game. So this thing's moe as hell, but it's actually really fun. So it's about this girl here who's an avid gamer who ends up joining a small company to make video games, and not like visual novels or eroge or any of that crap. No, like she joins a company where she actually wants and does help them create proper like 3D console games, like RPGs and stuff. So it's kind of cool. Like I appreciated seeing a, you know, a series like this where they weren't making bland ass like otaku like freaking visual novel crap. Like not to say they're all crap, but you know what I mean. It was just sort of interesting to see something that was more ambitious in that on that front. It's a really fun series. Not like incredible or anything. It's sort of comparable to Shirobako, you know, the one where they make anime. Sort of similar to that, maybe a little bit less realistic. But you know, they go into stuff. There's QA testing. You know, they get into the nitty-gritty on what really matters in terms of making 3D models and making them to specifications and things like that. Like, it is interesting. Again, I'm not sure it's like super realistic, but you know, you know, it's probably simplified, but it still goes into stuff that is quite interesting. So you know, if you ever have an interest in, you know, what goes into making video games, this is a pretty good series, and it got 2 seasons, so here's season 2. You can get this in a complete set as well, but I got these really cheap on eBay in the UK, so again, like I said, nice art, decent story, good comedy, a little bit moe overload though, like most of the characters are insanely, you know, cute or whatever, and just like there aren't many male characters in it. Like the whole studio is basically females. I think there might be the odd male, but I'm not 100% certain right now. But yeah, they even get into like crunch on this, you know, like people working on video games getting way overworked and underpaid and things like that to meet deadlines. Like they get into stuff like that. Not sure they get into like positive looks on that in terms of like we really shouldn't be doing this, but you know, they approach the subject at least. So yeah, new game, really fun, highly recommend that one. This is a weird one that I expected to enjoy a little bit more than I did. I'm a big fan of sports anime, and this one is sort of weird. Okay, so we've got Hanebado. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce this one, but yeah, obviously about badminton. But it gets a little bit dark. Can I remember exactly why? The mother of one of the characters, I think it's this one, is like super not a nice person, and sort of like way overworked their daughter into trying to carve her into like the perfect badminton player, and so much so that she ends up hating the sport, and she's kind of really horrible, like to all these other girls that are really into it but maybe aren't quite as good, and she kind of rubs it in their face that she's so much better than them while also hating playing at the same time. And it's sort of like a huge rivalry between these two girls despite them being on the same team, you know, trying to work together, trying to soften her up, as well as, you know, this character trying to make her you know, a more better player, really, like because she's super passionate but, you know, not quite able to reach the heights of this player. Well, you know, her talent is somewhat going to waste because she just hates the sport due to the way her mother brought her up. I think I've explained that relatively well. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if that's exactly what the story is. I'm pretty sure it is. There's also a couple of other high schools involved and different rivalries and such. Yeah, and like the mother comes back into it in a way as well later on, having trained other players, I think, and stuff. I don't know. It was fun, but yeah, like the more darker side and the fact this character is really not particularly likable for quite a while, if ever, frankly. Like, I won't go into it further than that, but like, you know, journeys journeys are made with the characters, or, you know, gone on or whatever. That doesn't sound like a good sentence, but still, you know, tough nut to crack, that one. Yeah, Hanebado, nice disc art for this, considering it's a Crunchyroll Funimation release or whatever. A lot of the time their disc art sucks. There was also a couple of postcards of the characters, the main two there. So yeah, it's fun, but not like, yeah, just not amazing. I can't remember what I gave it. I think a 7. I don't remember the dub, but, you know, I imagine I probably watched it dubbed. So yeah, whatever. Hanebado, like, yeah, like I thought it was good, but my heart just couldn't. Like, it was a good drama, but I couldn't find myself loving it because the characters just aren't lovable in general. So that's that. Okay, here's one I haven't actually watched yet. This is one that I picked up pretty cheap. The slipcovers are a little bit dog-eared, not like too bad, but a little bit. This is, I believe, Gonzo's last ever show. This show's getting a sequel soon, which kind of surprised me. I know it did do relatively well, but it also just seemed to like come and go at the same time. But it's about a subject that I really enjoy in anime. The animation doesn't look anything as good as these front covers do, but I'm hoping to enjoy it. So yeah, and like I say, I think this is Gonzo's last ever show to this point, like full proper TV series. But yeah, we got Kakuriyo Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. So yeah, it's about a girl who ends up finding out Natsume style that she can see yokai and the like, and she ends up making a pact, I believe, with one of them. Or maybe she just gets spirited away, according to this. Aoi Tsubaki is suddenly swept away to the hidden realm when a handsome ogre lord, it is very Otome, this series by the way, comes to take her as his wife. He claims that she must pay back her grandfather's debt. Okay, that's it. I remember seeing the first 5 minutes, but I can't remember exactly the ins and outs of it. But Aoi's not willing to give her hand over so easily. Instead, she makes a deal to work at the Tenjin-ya, I know I butchered that, bed and breakfast for Ayakashi to pay back what her family owes. So yeah, not exactly yokai I guess then, but you know, close enough. So, yeah, spirits in general. So yeah, and again, really really nice art on the front here, but like the actual show itself doesn't look quite as good. But they went all in on all this key visual type artwork to try and make it look better than it actually does. Yeah, and it was this artwork that sort of attracted me to the show to begin with. But yeah, it is a Gonzo show, and in general, it doesn't look anything like as nice as this. But I hope to enjoy it. It's got a full English dub, so yeah, that's part 1. It's a 26 episode series, I believe. So here is part 2. Again, just look at this artwork. It's absolutely incredible. So yeah, and this is closer to what they actually look like in the show. Yeah, nice, but you know, not quite as nice as that. Not that I necessarily expect anything to look like that outside of like Mononoke or something. It would be cool to see something look like as good as that though. But anyway, same underneath. These stupid Funimation things that are absolutely useless now. So might as well throw those away. Again, really nice disc art. And a nice inside wrap art as well. So yeah, that's a Kakuriyo Bed and Breakfast for the Spirits. Again, I'm pretty sure like this was the last series that Gonzo ever did, which is sad for me. I know people have mixed emotions and reactions to a lot of Gonzo shows, and I won't say I'm different, but I know like way back in like the bubble, like early 2000s bubble period, like they were pumping out so many shows, and there's loads of shows I absolutely love from them from that era. You know, Basilisk and like Last Exile and stuff. Like they've made some really cool stuff amongst the stuff that maybe didn't quite live up to the hype as well. But yeah, anyway, Kakuriyo Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. Okay, so next up we've got a sports anime, another one that I've watched. It's actually Gonzo as well. Come to think of it, this is another Gonzo show, a couple of years earlier than Kakuriyo, but I think. But anyway, this is a show that I was way overdue in picking up because I remember being super hyped for this show before it started airing, because I quite like the sport it's based on. I don't watch it a ton, but the fact that it's available to watch on like NHK World a lot of the time makes it quite, you know, fun. It's like accessible when you wouldn't think it normally would be. It's not something you'd see on normal traditional sports channels and stuff. Let's just show it before going on a massive tangent. Hinomaru Sumo. So yeah, this is an anime about sumo. This is one of few, like kind of weirdly, given that you know this is the traditional national sport of Japan. Obviously, really, I would say baseball is the #1 pastime in Japan, but you know sumo, the traditional version of it, and well, not of baseball, but sport in general for Japan, doesn't have many anime based on it. There's a couple of OVAs from like 80s and 90s, I think, like maybe early 90s. There's a TV series from the early 90s called Hanebado, I believe, which is subtitled. I've seen it. Like 26 episode series. It was pretty good. And then Toei, there's a couple of silly comedy ones like those. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, I know there's those ones that ADV put out. They were like look like Powerpuff Girls, but with sumo wrestlers or something ridiculous. I can't remember what it was called. Anyway. And then Toei did a series a while ago about like I can't remember what it was called, but like Rowdy something, like sumo wrestler guy that was apparently like super obnoxious and just gross. About a high school club, sumo club, and yeah, this guy here who's like really short, like I can't remember how short he actually was, like 5'1" or something ridiculous, like really short. who wants to become like the best sumo wrestler in Japan. He's absolutely ripped to all hell. Befriends this other guy from this high school that's really passionate about sumo, and they slowly bring other people into the group, and they go to tournaments and the like, and yada yada yada. It's really good. Apparently, I didn't realize this until recently, but it's pointing out that apparently the manga for this got cancelled and like didn't get a proper finish to it, a proper ending, which is a real shame. Fortunately, when it comes to the anime, I assume the manga continues past where the anime goes, but when it comes to the anime, there is a complete arc, really. Like, you get a story that is fulfilling enough that you don't feel like you necessarily have to have more, as much as it would be nice to get more if you liked it, which I did. But like, it's a complete arc, so it's I don't feel shortchanged with this series. So yeah, weirdly, Funimation put in like a little bit of extra effort for this. We got like a really nice like matte finish to the slipcover, and you can see it's quite wide. And yeah, we get this like just full other key visual image on the back, and then as you take it off here, we get just the Blu-ray, which we'll get into in a minute. The original backing sheet, but yeah, we get art cards, which is surprising. These are often like really pointless extras. I've said this many times, and my opinion hasn't changed. But yeah, we get like this full set of like chibi characters, and you get them from the front and they're behind on all the characters from the main sumo group that we follow. Yeah, like really surprising that this show in particular got this slightly more deluxe treatment. I remember being quite hyped for it before it came out. I was watching it simul-dubbed for a while, and subtitled actually as well, I think. But then I gave up because I was just like, because I'm someone who likes to watch stuff all in one go in general, so I gave up on it and decided to come back to it when I had the Blu-rays, and it took me a while to actually pick them up, but I finally did, and really, really enjoyed the series a lot. It's fun. It's a lot of fun if you like sports anime in general, and it's nice to have a sports anime that isn't, full of, by shonen looking guys or like moe girls, like big ripped and big fat fucking guys sumo wrestling and stuff. The ending theme to this is one of my favourites. I love the animation of it. You get these like giant dudes like sweating as this music goes ooh. It's really funny. I absolutely love it. I really love that band. Happy Heads Natsu Yuri, I think they're called, or Natsu Yumi or something. Really, really cool band. I'll put a link in the pinned comment. They're really cool to some of their songs. They're really good fun. I discovered them through this series. So anyway, here's part 2, which we'll quickly go over since I've kind of talked about everything I wanted to touch on. But yeah, same treatment again. We've got way more than I would have expected in terms of like getting art cards for this series as well. So yeah, really, really fun, as I've already said now. Highly recommend it if you think you'd enjoy it, like sports anime and stuff. This is one I would definitely recommend. And yeah, this time we get slightly cooler looking artwork, I'd say. So these are like a lot of the top guys from the different schools they go up against. There's a lot of matches in this series. They're kind of quick, but then sumo matches, are quick in general. Like a sumo actual wrestling match, most of the time lasts less than 10 seconds. Like sometimes they last a lot longer, but most of the time they're about 10 seconds long. Like they're very short. The build up to a sumo wrestling match is way longer than the actual match itself. So yeah, I'm going to put these back afterwards because they're a little bit more complicated. But yeah, Hinomaru Sumo, highly recommended. And then this video is getting a bit long, but I guess I only have one left, so we'll go for it. This is a PA Works show. PA Works are probably my favourite studio. I used to be Studio Bones back in the day, but a lot of their output these days is not really why I fell in love with them. The shows I fell in love with Studio Bones back in the day were like, they put out, basically made all of my early favourites like Razafon, Eureka 7, Fullmetal Alchemist, Scrap Princess, like just like hit after hit after hit that I watched and found out probably either then or a little bit later, oh, these are all made by the same studio. That's crazy. So they were my early favourites. In recent years I've come to really like Mappa, But I think my favourite studio right now is PA Works. I've just loved all of their shows for like a decade now. Like, I haven't seen them all, so you know that opinion might change. But as much as I appreciate Mappa in terms of like their crazily good flowing animation style, PA Works just make beautiful shows. Like, they're kind of like like Kyoto Animation, but like they make shows that I like more, basically. You know, and they make more shows as well. I wouldn't say their level is in terms of animation is quite on Kyoto Animation's, you know, highest tier or anything, but they're pretty close. Like, a lot of their shows look really good and they're very similar in style. Yeah. Anyway, this one's a bit of a weird one. This is one of those shows that I wouldn't necessarily immediately think of like, oh, that's a PA Works title, but it was pretty good. I wasn't overly in love with it, but I did like it enough to, when I saw this going cheap, decide, yeah, I'm going to pick that up because I think I would watch this again. And it's a series called Appare-Ranman. Appare-Ranman, I think. So this is a weird, like, oh, how do you describe this show? Okay, so it's like a fantasy historical show from like set in, I think, like, I would argue like 1920s, 1930s sort of time, but maybe even later. It's sort of like a weird mishmash where you can see, like, because it's set in America, or at least a version of America, and it has these characters travel from Japan who are to America, and they basically get really they join like this crazy, like, I don't even know what you call it, like Pan America, I guess, like the race right across America. I think it's just America rather than the Americas. Yeah. So yeah, a race from coast to coast, I guess. So yeah, East meets West on the road to the finish line. A socially awkward genius, Appare, or Appare, this weird looking guy here. Is there another better image? Yeah, that's a better image. This one here with the crazy red hair. Anyway, East meets West. Socially awkward genius Appare and the wise but fearful samurai Kasame enter a trans-American race with a steam-powered car, so sort of like steampunky, to win the cash prize and get back home. Yeah, because they're not getting stranded in America. Or I think like the main guy with the red hair kind of wants to go to America, and the samurai guy ends up kind of like accidentally going with him, and then they get to America and kind of like, oh shit, how do we get back? Like, there's no way of getting back. So yeah, between rivals, bandits, and trials, it's a mad dash to the finish in New York. So yeah, it's a fun series, like, kind of, how do I describe it? Like, weirdly, like, and this is weird coming from me because I'm not a huge fan of Trigun, but it sort of has like a little bit of that Trigun look and sort of, I don't know, just atmosphere to it. And then like a little bit like a splash of like Baccano as well, but again, like, but I don't want to overly compare it to those because I know those shows are beloved, even though my opinion on Trigun is not quite the same, but I do really love Baccano. But it sort of, you know, has that sort of style. I don't know, it's fun. I don't really know how to describe it. It's so freaking weird, guys. It's such a weird show. Like, generally so weird, but has really nice animation, as expected from PA Works, and it's just kind of different. Like, steam-powered, almost wacky races looking freaking cars racing across America in like this weird mix of like 1930s to 50s like America. Yeah, it's kind of strange, really strange, but it's fun, good comedy, good art. Like I said, like, yeah, something that, you know, only 12 episodes or whatever, or 13 actually, is something that I would return to, so I decided to pick it up when I saw it going cheap, as I said. So yeah, as you can kind of see, like, all these crazy, the cars are CG from memory, but yeah, I got this set, has minor water damage to it or something. It's quite crinkly, doesn't seem to be stained at all. It was quite cheap, which is why I picked it up. Yeah, anyway, that's Appare-Ranman. Clearly my brain is fried, so I'm going to end it there. I kind of want to make sure these videos don't go too over half an hour anymore. I'm trying to make them shorter, but yeah, maybe one less thing I'll pick up next time, and then we'll get under that time limit. So yeah, I'm Blaze. Thanks for watching. Can't believe I made another video already. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Hopefully not too long from now. So yeah.